jiu-jitsu, Wally did a number of things. Jiu-jitsu used to do a wrist lock like that. It's a big motion. And Wally said, okay, this has got to be shorter. We got to tighten this circle and make this shorter. But then he found out there's pressure points involved, and actually got him to where he really didn't even need two hands. So he found out from Dillman there was a point right here, because he showed Dillman how he would do the lock, and he knew he wanted compound torque. He said, well, right there's a point called triple warmer 3. It's a pretty valuable point. Even Professor Henry Okazaki, his teacher, called this the third sensitive. Didn't really talk about pressure points, but he knew this was a place. And he would put his thumb here. Now this is like a P-38 military can opener. Because in the military can opener, it's a 90-degree representation to the part that makes the puncture and the rest of the unit. You know, and you just kind of go around a can with it. It's a crude but effective tool that they use to open rations. So this is 90 degrees to the hand. But this thumb goes this way, these fingers go this way. They're 90 degrees to each other. So you put that thumb there and then touch right here, okay? Touch right there at the base of the thumb, that's lung 9. Well, lung 9 is obviously metal, triple warmer 3 is obviously fire. Now, because my fingers are a little bit longer than I need them to be, I just will go here, and this will work. I asked Wally J early on, because I've seen him doing this. I was thinking, how's he do that with one hand? I was trying to figure it out. So I asked him, I said, Professor, how do you do that with one hand? He said, you just use these two fingers. I thought, oh, okay. So I was trying to do it that way, and actually, this hurts my thumb, to pull with the thumb. We're not made that way for this side angle. It's real good to push with, and I finally looked at his videos, and I watched, and I thought, oh, he's not pulling with the thumb, he's pushing with both fingers. So what's cool about this is you can do this with a moving hand. Whereas prior to that, when we were taught wrist locks, we were taught to reach under and do this underhand wrist lock, which works great, but you can't do it unless you're grabbed. It's not a moving hand technique at all. But this is, so if he throws a punch, I tap, stick to it, and lock, and we'll get that. In fact, that's in a kata called Goju Shiho. Where in Goju Shiho, we go like this, and go with that movement. So if he comes in to throw the punch, this has to cut down, and because of how pressure points makes our opportunity be created, when we strike in here, we know we're striking the triple warmer V, where we have a cluster of 3 or 4 points there that we can just wrap. And in general, in our study, we know, and we have to know, what does a particular meridian or point do to create the advantage. The advantage is created because both triple warmer and its complement, pericardium, which is the median nerve, both release the energy of the whole arm. So if he's got this arm strong, he doesn't want to bend it, okay? If I tap that, I can bend it. Okay? Now it's going to come back, because it'll come back. I didn't hit it that hard, so he can make it tight again. But if I knuckle it, then it's going to be mine for a moment, and I need to know that I can depend on that. So that's some of the stuff that Wally really liked about how pressure points could help his baby, small circle jiu-jitsu, develop into a really great art that was dependable. I bet in my study and in traveling and teaching, people who have omitted certain techniques from their study because they couldn't get them to work. But Wally learned that pressure points can make all these techniques work very, very reliably. So that's where it kind of fits in a broad sense. So we're just going to focus in on a few things. So what I want you to do to start with, we're going to do this from a trap. This is one of my favorite traps. I'm going to tap, trap, and lock. Don't have to follow through real great. But see, this is actually half a technique. Can you slap my shoulder? If you can do that, you can slap me in the jaw. So we have to go here. That's what makes that hand goes back. So even though 95% of the technology of the technique is in this, getting this set, it's when you actually follow through that's truly the other half of what you need to do. Because if you don't follow through, I mean, he's going to be on punishment. And going down, he's gonna say, well, I'm gonna get this guy, and he's gonna unload on my jaw, okay? So here's what I want you to do, you just wanna throw this, trap, and lock. But get a little bit of follow through, not a lot, you don't have to punish each other, but you're gonna be here. So if you're here, slow, the circle is small, as we're expecting in small circle jiu-jitsu, but also you're focusing on trip warmer 3, lung 9, and it's going to be a very effective technique. But get here, oh, lock. And that's what you want to develop some speed on. You want to just kind of lock. You can always add, but that's just stuff that you do if you want to take the guy down. What do you want to do with it? If you've got good control with this, and you can say, hey, what are you doing here? Bang! I'm going to kick that upper thigh. Fight's well over, and if I walk away because I kicked that sufficiently, he won't walk after me either. Because he'll have a cramp from hell in that upper thigh. And that's one thing I like. I teach everybody that. I don't care who it is. But little girls, self-defense, go to work on the legs. Got to do it. That's another thing that makes pressure points more valuable. Even on somebody that isn't necessarily sensitive to points, if you put a good shot in that upper thigh, it's still going to basically do the same thing. They won't feel the pain, but there'll be a weakness created by it. And that's what you want to put some faith in, okay? So, the partners here, trap, lock. This is kind of, you put this part of your wrist together and lock. Okay. That's a great technique off of a punch attack. So let's get together and try that.